Hello, everybody. Oh my god. Oh no. Did the hold up, the audio just disappeared. We love that. Give me one moment, guys. For some reason, my mic updated last night and crashed multiple times trying to get updated. Now the game audios have been a little bit buggy recently, like within the last few minutes. So give me one moment to put this back here. Almost like I figure out what to do with that later tonight or tomorrow. No, later tonight. So let's keep going. Set. Okay, you guys can hear me clearly on the mic. Let me know. All right. Got my coffee, my water. Big stretch. Oh my god, excuse me. Okay, just check. Okay. All right, so that's good. Is the alerts still on that? Yeah. All right. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. All right. TJ keeps quiet as we sit down, so I give up and just lean my head back again and close my eyes. It's quiet for a few minutes before TJ finally speaks up. How, how are you feeling? I rub my eyes gently, a headache now replacing the dizziness that I felt earlier. Tired. My head hurts. I really shouldn't have done that. I'm so Stop apologizing. Please. It's fine. It wasn't the heat. TJ frowns and sits back, looking out the window at the sunset. Sorry, I'm not mad. I just don't want to see you beat yourself up over it, you know? I don't tell him that his constant fretting and apologizing is grating on my headache. Well, make sure you try to eat. You might just need energy. Here's hoping. At the moment, a young stag that I vaguely recognize comes up to our table. It's weird seeing someone so young and fresh in Janice's position. Once he gets to our table, though, his eyes light up. Teach? DJ sits up suddenly and a big grin spreading across his face. Julian! Julian? Oh, he's so cute! What the hell? Hold on, who are you? Why are you so cute? It's been a while since I've seen him. He's bigger and so are his antlers. I barely recognize him. What is his voice? And Chase! And Chase too? What in the world are you two doing here? Visiting? I didn't know you had a job here. That's cool. Julian grins. Not really, but it pays some of the bills. At that point, I phased out the conversation, letting the two of them catch up. TJ had a lot of friends in high school. He had been technically popular. A good few minutes before the stag finally takes our orders. Once Julian bustles off to another table, TJ grins at me. Oh man, it's good to see him again. Yeah, that's cool. With the stag gone, the awkward silence quickly closes in on us again. I'm too tired to do much about it though. I lean my head back again, closing my eyes, feeling like I might fall asleep right here. So, I open them and see TJ looking at me before he quickly looks away again. What? He fiddles with the stack of napkins. You called me Toby earlier. Did I? I remember even as I say it. Yeah. TJ forces a laugh. It's been years since you called me that. Yeah? We're quiet for a moment. So, why did you call me that? I don't know. Guess I was just a little loopy after passing out. Ah. And I eye him carefully. Do you mind if I call you that? TJ is fine. So yes, he does mind. I study TJ, the way he sort of hunched in on himself, his ears twitching. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I go back and forth between deciding if I should bring up the whole Flynn incident or not. Despite his best efforts, TJ isn't fooling anyone that he's not bothered by what happened. Of course, he would be. Do you want to talk about what happened on Monday? TJ's quiet, and I kick myself. I'm given a little more time to think of what I'm going to say next as Julian brings our food and strikes up another conversation. TJ again is able to easily slip into a smile and chat away with the stag. The smell of the burger has my mouth watering, and it's incredible when I take a bite. It's striking how easy it is for TJ to just put on a smile and act cheerful. It makes me wonder how much of it is actually genuine. I'm almost halfway done with my burger by the time Julian is angrily called back to the kitchen by the cook. TJ goes quiet again and starts plucking at his salad. I swallow and set down the burger, my stomach turning a bit at what I'm planning to say. I was thinking about this before we got here. About what? That maybe we could use the time we have here to remember what happened, to find... TJ finally looks at me, and the sadness I see in his eyes makes my heart plummet. Find closure? TJ's quiet, staring at his salad. I don't know, man. I just know how bad it is for you still, and I just want to figure out how we can... I search for the right words. Be at peace with it? TJ's still quiet. I don't know, man. I finally say and slump in my booth, feeling like I ruined the evening. How would we even do that? His tone is shaky, but genuinely curious. I don't know. Talk about it? Talk about it with the others? Not Flynn, just the others? TJ looks out the window again. Maybe even go to the lake and talk about it there? I don't know. I almost choked on the word lake, still worried about saying it in front of TJ. Maybe. Maybe? TJ sighs and finally looks at me with a small smile. Maybe, but right now, I just want to hang out with you and have a good time, okay? Okay. So, so, stop being so angry. It's making me sad. I pick up my burger, my stomach loosening up enough that I feel like I can eat again. Sorry, I was just looking forward to. And stop apologizing. He says it with a smirk, then almost immediately frowns. I mean, sorry, that was rude. I laugh at him and he smiles back. I take another bite and look out the window. I feel a lot better now, and now I'm pretty sure I only passed out because I didn't have any food in me. By the way, did you ever see that tarantula again after the first time you saw it? TJ shudders. Ugh, no, thank goodness. I look out the window at the brilliant sunset. That's good. I'm still curious of like, what are the signals that TJ is giving me? Because like, I don't know. Earlier, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being me and like Chase being read by me, but like, it's just a weird feeling when like it's like college again when like when your first crush is a straight guy and all that stuff, being a gay guy, like they give you mixed feelings and you don't understand whether or not what they're trying to imply. So like, and you're just too afraid to ask what it even is. So like, I don't know what TJ is trying here. He tries to walk away from me, but I kick him in his lower back and he goes stumbling forward onto his knees. What? He stays there, not bothering to move at all. Oh, we are doing a visual novel called Echo. This is for the person in on the YouTube end. We're doing a visual novel called Echo, which is a psychological horror, no, furry game. So yeah, this is what it is. We're streaming on both Twitch and YouTube at the same time, and later in the evening, later, like after a good few hours of this, we will be switching off of YouTube and continue on Twitch to play Cult of the Lamb. So yeah, I glare back at the back of his head, breathing hard. How does it feel when it's happening to you? My voice shake as I yell at him. I'm not used to doing something like this. It feels so gross. At the same time, I feel like I'm finally teaching him a lesson. He's had this coming for so long. I'm guessing they're kids right now. Why are you so mean to him? Yeah, I was right. He doesn't answer. Instead, slowly getting up to his feet, wiping his face with the back of his hand. I told him to come out here to make one of his treasure hunts, just so I could confront him like this. It's not going how I thought it would, though. He just standing there, not saying anything. Finally starts to walk away again, shoulders slump, ears and tail down. I feel another burst of anger following him. I quickly overtake his slow pace and shove him as hard as I can in the back. His head snaps back before he falls flat on his stomach on the ground. He stares at it for a long, long time while I stare at him. I can't remember what happened after that. Oh, Thursday. Oh my God. 2 more days until the horrors of Saturday. God. There's a dull throbbing in my head when I wake up, a remnant of the raging headache I had yesterday. I take some Tylenol and when TJ goes to the bathroom so he doesn't see it. I don't want to worry him. While he's taking one of his insanely long showers, I go down to the lobby to get some breakfast. When I come back into the room, balancing 2 plates full of bagels, bacon, and eggs, I'm surprised to see TJ already done. He's busy brushing his fur in the mirror, trying to tame the comical, fluffed up look he has going on. I can't believe I forgot my shampoo. Look at how ridiculous I look. He holds his arm out to me and Jenna. Jenna grunts, not really paying attention as she types away furiously on her laptop. I think it's kind of cute. TJ smiles. You mean funny? No, you just look a little chubby. I smirk at TJ's mortified look as I set the plates down on the table, which forces Jenna to push her laptop aside for the moment. TJ opens a packet of jam and butter before spreading it neatly on the bagel cut in half. I watch as some of it sticks to the long fur around his mouth while he nibbles at it. He wipes it away with a napkin only to start the process over again. It's so sad that you're going to spend all your time doing homework, Jenna. I'm taking 2 midterms the Monday we get back, so it's fairly necessary, TJ. Jenna doesn't even look up from her laptop as she responds, focused solely on whatever it is she's typing. I'm pretty sure she just shoved half a bagel into her mouth before she went back to work. TJ sits there quietly for a moment, taking another bite. You think you'll have time to do anything today? Jenna doesn't answer for a few seconds. The only sound, the faint patter of the keyboard. Finally, she stops and looks up for the first time in probably an hour. I don't know. I don't think so. I have a lot of work to do. Why don't you 2 go out and do something? We will. It would be nice if you could go with us. I snort. Yeah, come with us to do more work at Janice's house again. TJ lowers his ears. Again? TJ takes another bite of his bagel, and it doesn't look like he's gonna say anything. I sigh. Yeah, she kind of cornered him and got him to say he'd do more work. Jenna rolls her eyes and returns her attention back to the laptop. Janice is taking advantage of people? Shocker. Jenna, TJ protests quietly. You know she used to give me some sort of sob story at the diner to get me to tip better? TJ frowns. Well, she does have a tough life, Jenna. Despite being annoyed at having to go back to Janice's, I find myself siding with TJ. I think you do whatever you can here to make money. It's probably hard to own a house as just a waitress. Yeah, well, maybe don't be a waitress in a crap town. She could at least try to find something else if it's that hard. TJ is still frowning, his ears down. I can tell he wants to say something more, but Jenna is an intimidating figure to try and argue with. It's quiet for another minute before Jenna sighs loudly. Sorry, I'm just a little stressed out right now. I have a lot of stuff to get done. It's alright. I wish we could help you out. Jenna laughs without any humor. I wish you could too. TJ falls silent, staring at the small piece of bagel held between his fingers. My phone buzzes in my pocket and I take it out, surprised to see a text from Carl. Yo! I stare at it for a moment. Huh? Hi? Who is it? TJ asks around his last bite of bagel, holding a napkin daintily in front of his mouth as he chews. Carl. Jenna's typing stops again. Really? How's he doing? I don't know. He seems okay. I realized then that I hadn't really had a chance to ask Jenna or anyone else what had happened with Carl yesterday. Where was he? Leo said you guys found him. Yeah. Jenna pauses, staring at the screen out of of her laptop. What happened? I really d- oh, I really don't know. Flynn found him in the crawl space, apparently. The the crawl space? For some reason, I get chills running up my arm. What in the world was he doing down there? Jenna shakes her head. When I went down there, he was just sitting on the ground, and Flynn told me to leave. I raise my brows, and TJ gives me a confused look. He was standing in front of him, so I couldn't see him, like if he was upset or something. What was he doing? Jenna shrugs. Flynn took him upstairs, and we left after that. Was he like drunk or something? TJ seems to try and word it delicately. Jenna shrugs again and then turns back to her writing. He's always high, isn't he? I look back down at my phone. Wanna hang out? Is he that high right now? It takes a second to figure it out. When I do, I look back up at TJ. What time does Janice want us over? We'll go in the evening, so when it's not so hot. TJ looks down and lowers his ears again. Because I don't want TJ to get all apologetic again. I keep talking. Do you want to go hang out with Carl? TJ smiles. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. All right then. Sure, TJ's also coming with me. For some reason, though, I can't shake the feeling that something is off. Stepping out into the parking lot, TJ immediately starts heading for the road while I pause by the car, holding my keys. TJ turns around. Huh? Are we walking? I look up at the road towards the foothills of the mountains, Carl's house, an intimidating speck in the distance, barely visible through the heat haze. Oh, did you want to drive? I shield my eyes against the sun, only just over the mountains, but still promising a hellscape by noon. I mean, did you want to walk? I can see TJ's demeanor deflate a little bit as he starts walking back towards me and the car. We can drive. He smiles at me, but I sigh and shove my keys back into my pocket. Nah, we can go for a walk. It'll give us more time to talk anyway. Oh, okay. TJ smiles and waits for me to catch up to him before we start up the road. While I'm not looking forward to trekking back to Janice's house in the heat, I'd rather TJ be in an upbeat mood. We're pretty quiet on the way up. It isn't until we're passing Janice's house that I finally break the silence. Man, why did you have to say yes? I groan half teasingly, shoving my shoulder into him, sending him stumbling a little ways into the road. I'm sorry. Is it so hard to say no? Well, yeah, definitely is. I sigh. It would be fine if we weren't on vacation with friends we might never see again. TJ sulks a bit. Don't say that. It's kind of true. I remember that the trip is already sort of ruined because of Flynn. Anyway, it's not that easy, Chase, especially when she's all smiling and expectant like that. You should stop letting people take advantage of you. DJ stares at the ground. Sorry. And stop apologizing. TJ flattens his ears, and I realize that my tone might have been a little bit too harsh. Okay, now I'm sorry. I was mostly joking, but it's frustrating to see you get pushed around. I don't really get pushed around. I ignored him. And get taken advantage of? She doesn't take advantage of me. Why do you think she only asks you for these things? He opens his mouth, but I don't let him answer. Because she knows you'll say yes. That's basically the definition of taking advantage of someone. I nudge him again with my shoulders, but he manages not to fall into the road this time. You gotta be a little more assertive. Stand up for yourself more often. TJ shoves his hand in his pockets. So, just say no to people? Not just when it comes to saying no. Stand up to people being mean to you, too. I don't mention Flynn, but I'm pretty sure he knows what I'm getting at. I try to give him an encouraging smile, but he doesn't look at me. It feels great, man. Once you do it once, you can't stop. TJ looks away, out into the desert. It sounds like you just want me to be mean to people. I shake my head. You can be nice and assertive at the same time. It's a good combination. TJ's quiet for a few minutes as we start the painful uphill portion of the trek towards Carl's mansion. I do it because I like to do it, you know? Huh? I'm starting to pant a little, my short, stubby legs already burning. I like to help her out. It feels good. Like, it makes you feel better about yourself? It makes me feel better about a lot of things. There's a sudden shift in his tone that cuts me off from saying anything else. It's a tone I'm not used to hearing from him, and I wonder if I went too far with the whole being assertive thing. I feel like there's a whole lot more going on under the surface, but now doesn't feel like the time to delve into it. I try to think of something else to talk about, to change the subject. Anyway, maybe the apologizing thing is just part of your heritage. TJ laughs, dispelling the tension easily. Maybe. Well, if you do go back, at least you'll fit in with all the nice people. It's just a stereotype, and not all that true. There were mean people in Wastachua. Not like here, though. TJ nods. Yeah, not like here. We're quiet for a few minutes. Carl's house promisingly close now. I'm distracted, looking up at it when suddenly TJ's shoulder checks me right off the road, tripping me over my own feet and into a sagebrush. Ooh, what the hell? I shout as I lay in the dirt, the dust cloud clearing to reveal a mortified TJ still standing on the side of the road. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to knock you over. I'm so... He catches himself, though. The horrified look is still on his face. I stare up at him for a while and burst out laughing. I see his tail and ear relax, his floofed up fur laying back down. He smiles, seemingly relieved. You're learning. He rubbed his shoulder sheepishly. I guess so. We stand a good couple of minutes on Carl's doorstep, ringing the doorbell over and over and over and again. Why? I still have so many mixed feelings about TJ. I don't know. I like him. He's nice, he's cute, he's adorable. And I'm just like, what is going on here? I get we're friends. But like earlier, like, I don't know. It's weird mixed feelings I'm getting. I could hear the heavy beat of some hip-hop song through the door and ground. I swear the windows look like they're about to burst out with how much they're shaking. Finally, I send him a text, and that's when the music finally stops and the door swings open. As it does, TJ and I are blasted with a wave of pot with just a touch of booze lingering underneath. Carl grins at us, his bloodshot eyes and fur mussied up. What the fuck took you guys so long to get here? TJ frowns, rubbing his nose inconspicuously. I don't think I've ever seen Carl this far gone. I stare at him as he stares back at us, his grin never wavering. I finally break the silence. Are you okay? Carl suddenly gets a very serious look on his face. Jace. Gravely, he reaches out and puts both paws on my shoulder. I have. He smirks and sets his face sternly again. Never felt better. He brings me into a hug and whispers fiercely into my ear. I'm so glad you're here. He suddenly shoves me back and whirls on TJ, who cringes. Carl goes after him, sweeping him off his feet like the lynx is his brand new bride. Carl! Get inside before you get a heat stroke, fluff cheeks. I stand there on the doorstep as Carl takes the cat inside, TJ throwing me a wide-eyed look over the ram's broad shoulders. I stare back, wondering if it was such a good idea before stepping in. Hot smell aside, the coolness of the mansion is a welcome relief to the quickly rising heat behind me. I'm just in time to see Carl toss TJ onto two-cushioned couch before flopping onto the big one across from it. He smiles at me and pats the cushion next to him. I sit down on the last cushion, leaving a space between the two of us. I'm just a little worried about how handsy he's being right now. Carl shrugs and kicks up his feet on the cushion between us, tapping me with his hooves. We sit there for an ang- agonizingly awkward 10 seconds before TJ clears his throat. So, Carl, how have you been? Carl rolls his head on his shoulders to snap his gaze in the direction of TJ, who gulps. TJ, I've been peachy. You get me? TJ's ears twitch. Yes? Super supery. Carl giggles quietly to himself. He stares at the ceiling for a while, continuing to tap me with his hooves. I look down and see that they're leaving hoof-shaped prints of white dust on my pants. Man, I'm glad you guys are here. I thought I was going crazy. How come? Carl interlocks his fingers behind his head. This house, man, you go crazy in it when no one's around. Flynn spent the night, but then he had to go to work. Ah. TJ seems to have run out of things to say, leaning back on the couch as his tail twitches around nervously. Carl doesn't seem to mind though, staring peacefully at the ceiling. I exchange glances with TJ, who shrugs worriedly at me. I look at the massive flat screen. You want to watch something? Carl flicks his eye towards the TV. Have you seen the new Lucha Lobo movie? I had to think about that. Not since last summer, I think. I haven't. It's the fucking shit, dudes. Ugh. Carl sticks his leg in the air, swiveling on his butt before launching himself off the couch and to land on his hooves awkwardly. He stumbles, falling into TJ's couch. The Lynx tries to steady him, but the ram is off before he can, grabbing the remote. Suddenly, he spins around and tosses his phone at me, and I have to lunge to catch it. Jace, please order us some goddamn pizza. I'm starving. What? I stare at his phone. He sighs loudly at me. The Giano's app? Duh. It takes me a second to find it in the sea of random game apps. Oh, so, what do you guys want? I'll shove anything from Giano's into my fat face. I stare at him. So order anything. Okay. I ended up letting TJ pick the toppings since he got that special dietary where he can't eat gluten. Once I've ordered the extra large pizza, Carl's already started the movie. I didn't know anyone delivered out here. Oh my god. Gotta fix how I'm sitting. I am the cold. It's still cold outside. Still cold outside, yet I'm still drinking iced coffee. I didn't know anyone else delivered out here. Carl sits down with a beer in his hand, and I wonder if I should tell him not to drink anymore. Honestly, I don't know if the way he's acting is more due to the pot or the drink. He grins. That's what's so great about Giano's. They'll deliver anywhere if you pay. He takes a swig and belches. Ugh. Price of delivery is the same as the fucking pizza, though. He stares at me before pointing at his beer. You want one? I glance at TJ, who's staring hard at the screen. Maybe I'll have one with the pizza. Me and TJ have some yard work to do with Janice. Carl wrinkles his nose. Lame. Do you want to go with us, Carl? Carl thinks and gives a massive shrug. I could tag along. Might not be able to do any real work, though. He pats his stomach. Swear to God, I'll hurl. That's fine. TJ smiles, but Carl seems to be watching the movie now, which is already a few minutes into the intro. The pizza doesn't arrive for another hour, and when it finally does, the slices are almost room temperature. Still, with the pizza, beer, and a movie, I start to kind of enjoy myself. By the end of it, Carl seems to have sobered up a little bit. Not a whole bunch, but to the point where he's at least coherent. He turns off the TV and sighs, flat on his back on the couch at this point, his fetlocks across my lap. I'm fucking stuffed. I agree, and now I'm feeling even less inclined to go over to Janice's place. TJ pulls out his phone and now he starts staring at it with his ears lowered. I'm about to ask him what's wrong, but that's when Carl nudges me with his leg. Hey, you guys want to play a game? I look at him cautiously. What kind of game? Carl looks around and finds a row of 3 bottles on the ground next to the couch. 2 of them empty, 1 half empty. Never have I ever. TJ gives a nervous laugh. But, Carl, I don't drink. Give it a try. I frown, giving Carl a look. Or, we can just do the 10 fingers. You don't have to drink for that one. Carl pouts. Wow, you're boring as hell today, Chase. Alright, we'll do both. You guys can do the 10 fingers, bullshit. He struggles to sit up, burping again while he does. He leans over with a groan and picks up his beer. Okay, I'll go first. I hold up 10 fingers and TJ does the same, somewhat reluctantly. Never have I ever... Carl seems to think hard, then grins. Had sex. TJ's ears flatten and I glare at Carl. Really? We're going there already? Carl shrugs. What? That's the first question everyone asks. I lower my finger, still glaring. Isn't this game about getting to know things about people that you don't already know about? I look over at TJ, not surprised to see all of his fingers still up, though he's still blushing. I'm surprised you haven't, though. You had girlfriends. Carl sneers at me. Turns out having to lift up my own gut so they can suck me off turns them off. Never gone past that. So they still sucked you off. Blowjobs don't count. Yeah they do. It's called oral sex. Nah, man. I suddenly become very aware of a beet red lynx sitting across from us. I cough loudly and sit up straight, trying to think of something that's interesting but still G-rated for TJ. Never have I ever been in a fight? A physical fight, I mean? Carl takes a drink. TJ's fingers stay up. Who did you fight? The fuck have you been? Remember Clint? Oh, yeah. TJ starts to lower his finger too, then stops. Well, he mostly attacked us. He didn't really fight back, so it's not really a fight. Whoa! Throw him to the ground? Carl shrugs. Me and Flynn had gotten into it before. Well, you already took a drink, so I look over at TJ. Your turn. TJ looks off to the side, seeming to think hard. Never have I ever failed a test? TJ grins. I lower a finger, smirking, but Carl lets out a snort. Cute. The amount of disdain in his voice has me looking over at him, but he's already chugging down his beer. His burps seem to shake the couch. Alright, never have I ever kissed a dude. Carl! What? I never actually seen you kiss Leo, so, oh wait, maybe I have. Meh. He shrugs. I lower a finger, rolling my eyes. TJ, of course, doesn't. As I'm trying to think of my own question, I suddenly feel something warm press against my side of my face. I blanch away out of instinct and turn to find Carl with his eyes closed and lips puckered. Carl! TJ sits on the couch, his face a portrait of comically cartoonish shock. Alright, now I have. Carl takes a big gulp of beer. I'm not sure how to react, but TJ's reaction is enough to make the whole thing seem funny, instead of like sexual harassment. I mean, you can't do it after that question's been asked, right? Carl puts his chin on a fist, fluttering his eyes in a way he probably thinks is seductive. You can look it up if you want. I shake my head, wiping the side of my face as I try to think. Never have I ever flown in an airplane. Carl and TJ both lower a finger. Really? That's crazy. I shrug. Hardly ever been out of the state of my life. That's tragic. It kind of is. So it goes. The game continues for another 20 minutes. Most of the questions, innocent enough. Still, I notice that every time TJ takes a turn, Carl gets more and more agitated. Never have I ever done drugs, never have I ever been late to class, never have I ever gotten less than an A- in a class. Still, I can tell that TJ's directing it mostly at me. Probably because he's been being mischievous, and probably because I think he's genuinely trying to figure me out. Carl's mood continues to sour though, and it all seems to build until the 6th round. Never have I ever been in a car accident. I lower a finger. You crashed before? I mock glare at him. Why do you automatically assume it was my fault? Oh, sorry, I mean, my dad was driving and we got rear-ended. Oh! That's when I noticed that Carl hasn't spoken at all since that question was asked. I look over at him to see that he's got the bottle resting on his knee and as he watches TJ. I lean over to poke at him. You okay? He glances at me before turning back to TJ. You knew I'd been in an accident. TJ looks at Carl confused. I did? Yeah. I told you at the motel when you first got here. Oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. TJ continues to look confused. Carl stares at his lap for a while, and I start to wonder if this game is over. Then he looks up and stares at TJ, rubbing his chin. Huh. He seems to be thinking hard. Never have I ever... You wait. Carl smiles. Never have I ever killed someone. What the fuck? What follows is dead silence. Carl stares straight at TJ, still with a smile on his face. TJ looks confused. That's a weird thing to say. Is it? TJ freezes up, as if ice cold water has been dumped over his head. I look at Carl slowly, but he's not looking at me at all. TJ's clenched paw rests in his lap, his face expressionless, almost as if we both realize what Carl's getting at. We sit in silence for what feels like almost in a minute. Carl finally breaks the frozen portrait that we're all in, leaning back into the back of the couch. You know, my life has been going downhill since that happened. Since that happened? TJ and I don't say anything, both of us watching Carl. School, grades, drugs, whatever. I don't know. It seems like it all started after whatever it was that happened. Carl looks pointedly at TJ again. Carl. My voice comes out shocked and bewildered. That seems to get through to him a little bit, his long ears flicking down briefly. TJ continues to stare back at him, and I remembered of how he looked when Flynn was having a go at him. Carl finally looks down, away from TJ. So I was in the crawl space the other day, and I found an old letter from Sydney. I don't say anything. Neither does TJ. Carl waits a while, then goes on. I haven't opened it. It said it was a treasure hunt on the front. A treasure hunt? Sydney absolutely loved treasure hunts. He was always making them in his spare time. They were usually pretty bad, and the prizes at the end were always pretty awful. It would always take some convincing on his part to get us to go on one. I don't know why I have it, but it made me... Carl stops thinking and closes his eyes, pressing himself deeper into the soft cushions of the couch. Maybe if we knew what happened, we could fix some of our problems. TJ finally stands up, and Carl's eyes snap open when he does. I watch him, too, having no idea what he's about to do. Because of the look on his face, I wonder if he's about to actually do something violent. Attack Carl or something. His expression is dark. Not like I've ever seen him, even when Flynn was yelling at him. Instead, though, he just stands there for a few moments staring at Carl. Carl looks away again, his ears lowered. Self-improvement starts with realizing what the actual problem is, Carl. That didn't sound like TJ at all. Not even the voice. Carl seemed shocked as well as he finally looks up at the links. Stop blaming others and start blaming yourself. His voice is calm, smooth, but ice cold. TJ turns on heel and stalks towards the door, his fur fluffed out. I finally snap out of it and stand up as TJ opens the door. I take one last look at Carl and he's slumped on the couch, his head down. I'll call you later, okay, Carl? Carl doesn't say anything. So with that, I hurry out the door that TJ left open. I catch up to the Lynx about 100 yards down the road, trying to match its brisk pace. It's late afternoon at this point and the heat hits me like a ton of bricks. Sweat already threatens to drip off my chin as I approach TJ. He slows down when he hears me panting, letting me catch up. We walk in silence for a good 15 minutes and I almost jump when TJ finally speaks. Can you believe he did that? I take a few breaths, gathering the time I need to form a response. I think he was just really high and drunk. TJ shakes his head. He knew what he was saying. Sure, but his inhibitions are down. TJ isn't upset as I thought he would be, at least not in the way I thought he would be. Instead, he seems more angry than anything. I think it's because he's been talking to Flynn. Who knows what he's been saying to him? That could definitely be the case. TJ finally sighs and stares at the ground, his ears falling. I can tell he's about to finally start crying, so I quickly put an arm around his shoulders. Hey, it's okay. He was seriously drunker than I've ever seen him. He's not going to remember any of this. He doesn't look up. TJ, you are a huge reason why we've all stuck together at this point. TJ doesn't say anything, and I see his eyes watering up. I could be making it worse, but I give his shoulder another squeeze. You're the glue. And like you said, Carl's blaming his own problems on everyone else. This has nothing to do with you. TJ sighs, leaning against me a little. I take this as a good sign and nudge him. Listen, let's get to Janet's place and get those chores out of the way. After that, we can get some ice cream at Ray's, okay? All right. TJ lets out a small laugh and we continue down the road for another 10 feet like that. Then he suddenly pulls away from me and faces me and hugs me tight. He buries his face in my chest, and as I feel his fingers clenched into the back of my shirt, he holds me like that for a long time. We get to Janice's house a good half hour later, me covered in sweat, TJ airing out his shirt. It's 5 at this point, but the sun's still pounding down on the back of my head like I had lead weight. Janice opens the door almost the second we knock, and I can tell immediately that something's off. First of all, she's got no pants on. I catch a glimpse of her large white panties before I snap my eyes back up, staring hard at the coyote's face. I can't see TJ, but by the funny way he's breathing, I'm pretty sure he noticed as well. Janice spreads out her hands, grinning. Well, I'll be. You made it. We gawk at her for another second before TJ finally squeaks out. Yeah, of course. Janice suddenly steps forward towards the Lynx and cups his face in her hands. I keep my eyes up, trying to focus on her face. She squishes TJ's face to the point where his lips purse out a little bit. You, TJ, are a lifesaver. You know that? She says it sincerely, and I can see TJ trying to pull back. Unfortunately, it also looks like the coyote has a good grip on his face because everything but his head moves back. Thank you, Janice. TJ tried to speak from his squashed face. Janice, what did you want us to do today? I break in, hoping to move her attention away from ripping TJ's cheeks off. She seems to be really enjoying the tufts of his fur here. Oh, Chase, you're here too? Yeah, we're going to work on it together. Well, all right. How about I head out there and show you two? My eyes flick down to her bottom half just for a half second, and I immediately regret it. There's no way around it. You want to get dressed first? Huh? Janice looks down. Oh, that. Well, I just got to apologize now. I was in the middle of getting ready for work. I just forgot what I was doing. I glance at TJ, then quickly back to the coyote. Oh, well, we can wait. Nonsense! It'll only take a second. I'm left open-mouthed, following the coyote automatically as TJ follows closely behind me. A quick glance around reassures me that there isn't anyone around at the moment, but if someone does come around, Janice marches us out to the back, to the few wooden remnants of the shed we moved earlier. She points at the ground. I want you to dig a hole right here. TJ stays just slightly behind me, as if using me as a shield to Janice's shameless immodesty. A hole? Yeah, in a rectangle from here to here. Janice marks a line in the dirt with her foot before walking about 5 feet in the other direction and marking the other line. And 3 feet wide, at least 3 feet deep, if not more. I nod, though her instructions I nod through her instructions, just trying to get through this as quickly as possible. Okay, what are we doing this for? Janice stops, scratching the back of her head. A pool. Gonna have a pool back here. A pool? Yeah, a nice little pool. She grins at us, and I quickly nod at her. Okay, we'll get right to work. Shovels in the garage, right? I'm doing everything I can to get her back inside. Yeah, need anything else? I can make you lemonade before I leave. Nah, we'll just get water if we need it. Well, alright. No need to finish it today if you can't. I know how hard it is. Janice turns to leave, but not before reaching out and pinching TJ's cheeks almost viciously. He squints his eyes, ears flattening as he just stands there and takes it. And with that, she hums her way back to the house. I wait until I hear the door close. Oh my god, she's gone insane. TJ stays quietly, staring at the spot on the ground that Janice marked out. Seriously, maybe we should go. No. She's probably just having another off day or something. I shake my head. And this is definitely not a pool. TJ kicks the dirt, and I shiver as I see a small spider skitter across the ground. Either she's lost it, and we're doing nothing here, or we're digging a grave. Oh, come on, Chase. This was a bad idea. I hear the garage door opening and shut my mouth. A car engine starts up, and I see an old, rusty, white sedan pull out of the driveway. Janice waves at us and blows a kiss, which I'm pretty sure is directed at TJ. Then she peels off like she's drag racing to the diner that's less than a mile away. So, who do you think she's on her way to murder? Stop. I look back at TJ. You think she even put her pants on? TJ shudders and looks back at the ground. Let's just get this done. Then I promise I won't do any more chores for her, okay? I sigh. All right, just remember whose fault this is if this ends up being our graves. The work is tougher than I thought it would be. We both start at opposite ends of the little trench thing we're making. Janice said we should do more than 3 feet if we could. But if this whole thing is bullshit, which I'm sure it is, then I'm not doing any more than the minimum. I'm at least glad to see TJ returning back to his cheerful, bubbly self. We almost get into a dirt-clawed war, but that comes to a quick end when I hit TJ in the thigh with a rock-filled one. Ew. About 2 hours later, the sun is comfortably low, and we're a little over halfway done. At that point, I get a text message from Carl. I take a quick glance at my phone, seeing a one-word apology of sorry. I look at it for a while until TJ finally peers up. Everything okay? And debate whether or not to tell him, now that he's in such a good mood. It's hard to tell exactly what will make TJ feel better or worse, I've come to realize. Still, I think he could tell who it's probably from already, judging by how slanted back his ears are. It's from Carl. Just says sorry. TJ stops digging, pressing his shovel into the darker, moist dirt at the bottom of the trench. That's it? That's it. Are you going to respond? I don't know. Should I? TJ starts digging again. Yeah, TJ tilts his head down. I need to apologize too. Now that seems more like TJ. Well, what should I say? TJ stops digging again and looks up at me. I look up at him expectantly. Okay, so I'm trying to be more assertive, like you said. Oh? I didn't expect him to say that. Is that why... TJ looks down, so I stop myself. Is that why he acted so strange at Carl's mansion? Sorry, never mind. What were you saying? So, I'm just gonna say this. I was thinking about the treasure hunt Carl found. For a moment, I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, the thing he found in the crawl space. I was thinking... TJ leans on the shovel's handle, looking away. Thinking that we should open it together. Okay. I say it slowly, realizing how delicate of a topic this is. Is there a reason why you want to open it? TJ sighs deeply, looking up at the deep red and orange sky. I always feel like things happen for a reason, and we were just talking about finding closure yesterday. Okay. So, I feel like this might be a way to do it, maybe? Read what he had to say? Maybe go on one of his last hunts. TJ swallows hard. I can sort of see where he's coming from. Sydney always wrote stupid riddles and stories with his treasure hunts. It might mean something to read, something he wrote so long ago. Okay. I keep coming up short with what I want to say. Again, I can see why TJ might think this is the answer, but I'm not so sure. Well, I guess I could ask Carl about it. Did you want everyone there? Maybe just us. We can let the others read it later if they want. I don't think Flint... I nod quickly. Yeah, that makes sense. So, you, want to do that tomorrow? Let's see if we can do it tonight. Oh my god, my voice cracked a little. Let's see if we could do it tonight. We've only got a few days left, and this is making me nervous. TJ gives a tight laugh. Yeah, Sydney's treasure hunt could be pretty elaborate. Oh, yeah, definitely. Are we starting to be able to talk about him normally again? Maybe TJ is right about this. Okay, I'll text him back and ask if I can call him. Okay. It takes me a little bit to figure out how to word TJ's request. Hey man, can TJ and I come over and talk? While we wait for Carl's response, TJ abruptly looks back up at me. Are you and Carl, friendly with each other? Huh? I mean, how he kissed you. What? No. I laugh. That was just Carl being drunk. Okay. Well, taking Carl's route, that was one of the most, sweetest moments with him that I had. Where he just, it's late at night. He looks at me and asks if he could kiss us. And it was just sweet. I honestly love that. That's one of my favorite moments in Echo. Just a moment with Carl, to be honest. TJ goes back to digging, his ears twitching around. I grin. What? Are you jealous? No. He says it way too fast and loud. Hey, if you want to give me a kiss, I don't mind. TJ doesn't respond. Instead of focusing hard on the ground he's digging up. Aw. If you're shy, I can do it instead. I see his eyes widen, but he still doesn't say anything. I make kissy sounds at him, and that's when he flings some dirt up at me, smattering my pants with dark brown spots. Aw, come on. I see TJ smirk as he goes right back to work. I'm thinking about picking up another dirt cloud, but that's when my phone buzzes again. Okay. We walk slowly up the lane. Okay, now this is starting to get, concerning. I don't know. That felt really weird and awkward. And, thinking about it now, that's what younger me would have done. And thinking about it now, like, that's just creepy. I don't know. It's weird. We walk slowly up the length of Carl's driveway, our shadows covering its entire length in the light of the sunset. TJ's starting to drag his feet again as we get closer to the door, and I stop to look back at him. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. You sure? We don't have to do this today. We can come by tomorrow. Hold up. Let me just drink something real quick. Okay. TJ shakes his head, taking another swig of water from a water bottle we brought from the convenience store on the way here. No, I'm just a little tired. It's been a long day. Yeah? I wait for TJ to catch up, then match his stride as we make our way up the sidewalk, then up the steps to the door. TJ doesn't do anything, instead, just gripping into his water bottle, making the plastic creak. I wait another second, then reach out across TJ to press the doorbell. The faint, fancy chime emanates from behind the door for a few seconds, followed by the clopping of Carl's hooves on the wooden floor. There's a pause once he reaches the door, and I imagine him hesitating as he reaches for the door handle. A second later, though, it swings open, revealing a very bleary, red-eyed ram. Carl blinks at us for a few times, though, the bright orange sun behind us. Finally, he steps aside, opening the door wider. Hey, guys! There's a pause as I wait to see if TJ will say anything. When he doesn't, I clear my throat and step forward through the door. Hey man, you okay? Not really. I don't say anything in return, instead spreading my arms out in the cool air of the mansion. I turn around and wait as TJ steps through the doorway, the lengths framed by the golden sunlight, the fine hairs of his fur lit up like white hot wires. I see Carl's hand that's not on the door sort of twitch, like he's grabbing for something. Hey. TJ stands next to me, looking back at Carl. Hello? Carl rubs vigorously, rubs at his arm. Carl vigorously rubs at his arm. Listen. Carl pauses. I get the idea that he's wanting TJ to tell him that everything's okay so that he doesn't have to explain anything. That would definitely make things easier. But he doesn't say anything, just watches the ram. Carl rubs behind his head for a second, looking back out the door. I'm not sure why it's so hard for him to apologize to TJ. I had a thought. It was weird that Carl had apologized to me instead of the Lynx in the first place. Listen, Carl takes in a big, shuddery breath, blowing it out loudly. I was really messed up earlier. I wasn't thinking right. TJ continues to watch Carl silently. His ears are up, at least. Carl stutters and stumbles over a few more syllables before he continues. And I just wasn't thinking straight. He scuffs the hardwood floor loudly with a hoof. And I don't think you did anything like that. I was just pissed off. TJ is quiet for a few more seconds, but Carl doesn't offer anything more. So, why were you angry? Carl sighs, then leans his head back against the door, his horns knocking loudly against it. You said some shit that I assheard about, okay? It wasn't your fault. TJ folds his arms, looking down. Well, what was it I said? Carl shakes his head. Stupid shit. I mean, stupid because of me. Stuff about school, car accidents, just brought out old stuff for me. Because he dropped out of college. And his parents were bothering him about it consistently. And then the car accident happening right after. Oh. But I don't think you ever did anything like I said. I was just being a huge dick. Sorry. His voice breaks a little at the end, and he quickly looks at the floor, his ears down. TJ is again quiet. I think about changing the subject now that the apology's out of the way, but TJ speaks first. Thanks, Carl. And I'm really sorry I brought stuff up like that. I'll try to remember them in the future. Carl shakes his head, looking back up. Not your fault. We stand there awkwardly for a few more seconds. I guess I thought maybe Flynn had been saying stuff to you. That's why you said it. Huh? Oh! Carl's non-denial hangs heavy in the air. I haven't seen Flynn in days, and I'm wondering what he's been up to in that time. I'll have to ask Carl when TJ isn't around. As of now, though, I want to change the subject because things are getting awkward. So, TJ had an idea about the scavenger hunt thing. Carl looks at me as if just now realizing that I'm here. Scavenger hunt? Scavenger hunt? Oh, yeah, the treasure hunt. TJ scratches his arm before looking embarrassed. Sydney's treasure hunt? TJ scratches harder at his arm, looking more and more flustered, so I jump in. Yeah, we were thinking about actually doing it, too. Maybe find some closure? Carl frowns. Really? TJ stops scratching at his arms, his ears coming back up. Yeah, I believe things happen for a reason. That you found it now while we're all here means something, I think. Man, I mean, it's really old. You even think any of the stuff would be out there right now? Maybe, but I guess I'm not really looking to find anything. It's like a thing we could do while we remember him. I think it's a good way to find closure. I try to back TJ up under Carl's somewhat bewildered stare. Niram strokes his chin. I guess that sort of makes sense. I mean, if you're okay with doing it. TJ squares his stance, looking up. I am. It's been so long feeling this way. I feel like it might be our last chance to do something. Carl looks over at me. I nod, indicating I feel the same way. I don't fully understand this new direction in TJ either, but I sure as hell supported him. Well, okay then. I'll go grab it. You want to just open it now? Let's go to the motel or something with Jenna there too. Okay. Carl finally shuts the door before making his way to the stairs. TJ seems to deflate then, his shoulders hunching back in. That wasn't so bad, I mumble to him once I think Carl's out of earshot. Yeah, it was okay. We stand there awkwardly as we wait. The whole situation is so strange. Carl comes back with a crumpled looking white envelope in his hands. TJ eyes it, the fur standing up on the back of his neck. So, you dudes want to drive back to the motel, or... Actually, we didn't drive. Carl drops his hand to his sides. Are you freaking serious? I can't walk in that heat. TJ did. I tug up some of the fur on the lynx's neck to show Carl. TJ actually jumps a bit, and I quickly let go. I want to ask him what's wrong, but Carl keeps talking. I'm going to raise my mic a little bit. Man, I'm going to smell like shit once we get there. The sun's almost gone anyway. Carl smirks at me. I sweat walking in the wintertime. You can take a shower at the motel. Carl blows his breath out loudly, frowning. Okay, but I'm going to put more deodorant before we go. The walk back isn't so bad. Carl makes it out to be a lot worse than it is with all his gasping and wiping his face. Oh god. How long ago was that? Hold up. Hour 23 minutes in. Really that far back? Was it really that far back that it stopped working? The Twitch site failed. Kidding me? Wait, hold up. How? I need to see where it actually. A text from Jenna. All right, so it paused after a text from Jenna, so that means I gotta restart from that portion. Ah, I was wondering what happened. Oh my god. Hold up. All right, we should be back now. All right, hello, hello. Can anyone hear me? Can let me know, because I have no idea what happened. Hold up. So we have to go back a bit. Because this is all in recording. All right, so we just keep right clicking. Oh god. Okay. We start from here. An ad starting soon? Are you serious? We had an out. Oh my god. Everything's going so well today, isn't it? Oh my god. First the mic and now this. Oh my god. All right, we're gonna. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna pause. We're gonna pause here, and we're gonna go on like a 5-minute break. So we'll be right back after 5 minutes, guys. Okay. All right, everyone, sit back, relax, and take a break. We'll be right back. Okay. All right. There we go. TJ gets a text from Jenna to meet at the diner instead of the motel since she's going there for dinner anyway. Once we walk in, Carl lets out a gasping groan of relief that turns a few heads. Jenna looks up from the corner booth and waves at us. I really need to figure out what's going on with OBS. It's just so weird. I wave back and start making my way over. Going to the bathroom, gotta wipe my pits. TJ makes a sour face as he follows me to the table. Jenna scoots in so we can slide in next to her. So, what's this all about? Carl found a treasure hunt that Sydney made. Jenna toys with her brown leather purse, staring at it. Okay, like a map or something? A letter. What are you going to do with it? Well, I look over to TJ, but he doesn't say anything, instead looking out the window at the sunset. We're thinking about doing it? You're thinking about going on a treasure hunt? Yeah. I mean, Jenna pauses, clearly trying to choose her words carefully. I mean, would there be anything left of it at all at this point? It would have to be at least 11 years old by now. Jenna looks over at TJ, studying his reaction. He doesn't give her anything though, still staring out at the window. I spread my hands on the table, instantly regretting it as I feel the grease slide around under the pads. We're seeing it more as a closure sort of thing. A sort of send-off. We're not really expecting to find anything. TJ finally looks back at us. He made it for us, so I feel like we should do it. For him. Huh. Jenna stares back down at her purse. I guess Flynn won't be involved? No. And Leo? He's going to be busy for most of the week. I don't think he'd really want to anyway. Why not? Now TJ looks like he's trying to choose his words carefully. He pretends like it never happened. I don't want to bring it back up for him. No one says anything else until Carl shows up, the fur on his head and face a little wet. Hey, Jenna. Carl? Jenna nods at him as he sits across from me. He reaches across the table, snatching up a menu from the metal holder in the center. I'll pay for if anyone wants anything. Jenna curls her lips in disgust, but I'm starving, so I start browsing the menu as well. TJ goes back to staring out the window, and I can see his ears twitching around. So, where's this treasure hunt thing? Carl looks up and sees that Jenna's staring at him. Huh? Oh, I have it. I'm gonna order real quick, though, if Chase is ready. I nod, and Carl waves his menu at Janice, who quickly bustles our way with a tray of glasses of water. She's wearing pants now, but there's definitely still something off about her. Her eyes are wide, her smile more like a grimace as she sets down our glasses and straws. She takes our orders well enough, though, and Jenna waits patiently as Carl and I order a meal, and TJ gets a smoothie. Carl methodically tears off one end of the wrapper of his straw before he blows the other end, shooting the rest of the wrapper at me. I flinch and try to catch it, failing as it falls to the floor. Jenna clears her throat loudly. So, where is it? Carl looks at her, the straw is still in his mouth. Huh? Oh, right. Carl reaches into his pocket and pulls out the envelope. He pushes it on the table, face up. There's writing in black marker on the front. Treasure hunt number 7. We all stare at it. Should I read it? Carl sets a hand down on the letter. Or someone else. Carl's eyes briefly flick over to TJ, then quickly look back down at the letter. TJ's hands come up, then surreptitiously scratches at an ear before letting it fall back into his lap. It does seem appropriate that TJ open it, but if he doesn't want to. Carl looks just as hesitant, so I finally reach out and gently slide it from under his hand. I can read it. Ah. No one objects, so I open it carefully, not wanting to rip anything as I pry the adhesive apart. What the fuck? A chill goes up my spine for some reason. A strange, surreal vision comes to my mind's eye of inky blackness leaking out of the envelope, spilling slowly across the table. I can feel it, too, like a cold draft is wafting from the inside. I pause, feeling an emptiness in my chest. What the hell? I give my head a small shake, breaking out of the trance. I guess it's only natural I feel this way. That's Sydney's handwriting on a letter sealed after he licked it. He loved making these treasure hunts. It's really sad, so it makes sense. What was that? It, it I can hear like a door opening, but that's not my door. It's really sad, so it makes sense that I'd feel the sudden drop in the mood. I swallowed as I continued to pry it open, the feeling getting worse and worse as I do. When it's finally fully open, the feeling slowly subsides. Tension in the air seems to melt away too, like the whole town just let out a sigh of relief. I look up for a moment at the others, wondering if they're feeling the same way. It's hard to tell as they're all looking intently down at my hands. I quick There it is again. I quickly look down and stick my fingers inside, feeling a piece of paper catch my pad. Gently, I press down on it and slowly slide it from the envelope. It's bright white copy paper, folded once in half. It's been creased as so long that it's starting to part on the fold, in the middle part so that the edges are barely holding together. Black blotches bleed through the paper, probably written with the same thick marker that was used for the envelope. I gently unfold it, not wanting to rip it apart more than it already has been. The big blocky black letters are sloppy and childish. Even though it's only a few sentences, it covers the entire page. The last few words trail off into tiny, almost illegible scrawl. It drops off down the side of the paper as Sydney realizes he ran out of room at the end. Okay, so, I clear my throat, then start reading out loud. Welcome to treasure hunt number 7. This is the biggest one so far, and it took a long time. So, no cheating this time. I'm talking about you, Carl and Chase. No skipping steps. First clue. These things fly really high. It's in the home with my comb. Chase, you don't have to do this one. I know you hate it. You'll see it if you figure it out. Good luck, guys. Sid. Feel my throat close up at just a little as I stared down at his name. He always wanted to go by Sid, but it never stuck, so none of us ever did. There's just like squeaking in the side, like something's opening. I don't know. Just doesn't suit him. I look back up at the others. Carl is still staring at the paper, and TJ's looking out the window again. Jenna has a hand up to her mouth, staring as well. Wow. And she wipes her eyes and I look away. I guess I never really thought about how this might affect Jenna. She and Sydney never really got along because of the way he treated TJ. But still, he was just a kid, like the rest of us. Carl lets out a ragged cough. uh, that whole cheating thing was totally you, Chase, not me. I look up at Carl, raising a brow. You're the one that told me to do it. Carl smirks. And you're the one that did it. What did you do? TJ asks quietly from his corner, finally looking away from the window. Well, Cindy liked to reuse certain hiding spots. I mean, there were only so many places he could use. Yeah, and Chase went straight to Cindy's mailbox and ruined the whole thing like a boss. I was like 8. Turns out it was the last spot, and he got the prize. Carl makes finger quotes around the last word. Yeah, one of those plastic clapper things we used to get in elementary school for reading a lot. You was so mad. Yeah. I remember dropping it on the ground because of how lame it was. I also remember Sydney crying. I'm not going to bring that up. Carl seems to at least lighten the mood, though, and Jenna stopped wiping at her tears. I'm starting to think TJ was right about this whole closure thing. I know where he's talking about for this one, though. I tapped the paper with a finger. Yeah, it's the birdhouse. Birdhouse? Where is that? The forest. TJ sits up straighter, ears up as well. There's a birdhouse on one of the trees close to the road. Oh, well, I never went in there because of all the, stuff that would get on my fur. JJ looks back out the window. The sun gone now, though the clouds in the sky are still tinged red. You guys want to do it tonight? Really? It's kind of getting late, and we still gotta eat. Carl looked eagerly over the front counter, though the small rectangle that led into the kitchen. We can use Chase's car. Besides, it might be kind of fun in the dark. TJ adds that last bit meekly. Hell no. As long as you guys know where it is, it shouldn't be a problem. I gently fold the letter back up and start tucking it back into the envelope. What did he mean by saying you didn't have to do that one, Chase? I look up at TJ, then back down at the letter as I gently press the lid of the envelope closed. I thought I saw something and got scared one time. It was a long time ago, though. At least, that's what I think he's talking about. Jenna clears her throat, seeming to have collected herself. I think I remember that. My parents told me about it. I frown. Really? I didn't like the idea of that. What did you see? I shrug. A person in the trees. A hanging person. Oh. TJ shudders. So, hell fucking no to going there tonight, then. Sorry for the F word, TJ. Sorry for the F word, Tej. It's fine. I saw a lot of things as a kid. I'm not going to tell them how I'm definitely still scared of that place. Besides, TJ looks really eager to start this, so I'm not going to ruin it for him. But, really, that's not what's bothering me right now. I look down at my hands as I try to work out the timeline in my head. When was it that incident happened in the forest? I thought I'd been 10 at the time, since that was when I started going to a psychiatrist. And I'd started going because of that. But that would be impossible because... Here we are! A plate with a massive burger and steak fries lands in front of my face. The big coyote set a smoothie down for TJ, an even bigger veggie burger for Carl. Hey Janice, is Julian working today? Janice smiles at TJ. No, dear. He's only here when I'm not. He'll be in tomorrow if you're looking to find him. Okay, thanks. Janice then clutches her tray to her chest and watches us for a moment. Listen, Chase and TJ, why don't you come by my house again when you get the chance? I look up at Janice and see that she's got a strange look at her face. Confused and worried looking. What's wrong, Janice? TJ's voice is full of concern. Did we do something wrong? No. You did everything wonderfully. I just want to have a talk about the way I acted the past few days. Janice lets out an exasperated sounding laugh. Not really sure what came over me. Just now realizing how strange it all was. She glances at Carl. But we can talk about it later in person. Enjoy your dinner. She bustles off, tray still held against her body. Carl watches her go, stuffing a few fries into his mouth. What was that about? The way Janice had looked at Carl makes me think she doesn't want him knowing about what had happened. I think she just feels bad for making us work so much. I look over meaningfully at TJ. Oh, yeah, maybe. TJ quickly starts sucking on his straw. Well, she should. Janice sitting back in the booth, having taken out her brush to start grooming her fur on her face and head. I inconspicuously slide my plate a little further away from her. Well, once we finish, we can go get my car and head to the forest. As I lift my burger and I take a bite, I look over at the counter where I see Janice leaning over her notepad. Her shoulders are shaking, and it takes me a moment to realize that she's crying. Oh, God. Okay. The forest is really just a patch of trees on the side of the road near Leo's house. While it's technically small, it still covers several acres, which is enough to get lost in. The sky is a soft blue now, just enough light to see by. It won't be long before that won't be the case, though. I pull off to the side of the road in the spot where I think the birdhouse might be. It's been well over a decade since the last time I've seen it. This is probably where the treasure hunt is going to end, considering the time that's passed. The birdhouse probably isn't even there anymore. We all step out of the car into the warm evening air. Carl folds his arms on the hood of the car and grins at me. See? Even with the sun gone, it's roasting. At least you could drive me home now. Yeah. I look over at Leo's house, but his truck is gone. TJ catches my glance. I might tell him what's going on if we find something. You want him to join us? TJ picks at his claws. It's alright. I give him a quick side hug as we step up to the edge of the trees. I can see why TJ doesn't want to tell Leo about this. He was right about Leo pretending it didn't happen. I can't imagine it would go well if we told him about drudging up old Sydney scavenger hunts. So, where is it? Jenna looks into the empty ditch between us and the forest, wrinkling her nose at the odd scraps of garbage inside. Well, Carl looks up and down the tree line, squinting. It kind of looks different now, but I think it's about here. It's only like 10 feet in, right? Carl looks at me. That sounds about right. We can fan out and check all the trees that's close to the road. TJ jumps across the ditch lightly, more lightly than the clumsy hop I execute right after. I land unevenly on the opposite incline and windmill my arms as I lean back. Carl starts laughing before I even fall, but TJ reaches out and grabs me by the shirt, yanking me back up from the ditch. I fall into him awkwardly and quickly step back, brushing myself off, even though there isn't anything on me. Are you okay? No, I'm fine, thanks. I glare over at Carl, who's still laughing. Did you even try, man? He leaps over easily, clearing the ditch along with a few more feet. That's not fair. I'm an otter. Don't let that hold you back from achieving your dreams. Jenna elects to delicately step around the garbage before climbing up the other side. It's okay. You swim better than any of us, Jace. I sigh. Thanks, TJ. I turn back to the forest, which is much darker as the light struggles to filter through the branches and leaves. Oh my god, I burped. I'm so sorry. Whew. Well, let's start before it gets too dark. As we spread out amongst the trees, I'm stuck with how quiet it is. The only sound is the crunch of our feet on the dead vegetation, and that starts to fade as the others move further away from me. I zigzag through the trees, trying to get a look at their full circumference. From what I remember, the birdhouse was a plain old wooden thing that hardly stood out from the trunk that it was attached to. We might not see it even if we're looking right at it. While it's been a long time, walking between these trees does bring back some memories. We stopped coming here after what happened to Sydney, mainly because this was his favorite place to hang out. He liked to play capture the flag here. I can still remember how fast he was, how I'd only catch glimpses of his tail between the trees before he disappeared with the flag. His team won almost every time. The summer of 2002 was the last time we played. Sydney had even been getting along better with TJ then. That might have been the best summer of my life until it happened. It was almost like Echo saw us having too much fun and wanted to end it. For good. Sydney had still been a dick, though. The image of Sydney whipping TJ mercilessly with a towel that we use as a flag comes to mind. I move closer to the edge of the tree line before slanting back in again. Looking up between the branches, I see that the sky is a darker blue now. Pretty soon, it'll be pitch black. It was about this light that last time I was here. I'd come alone and I was 10, maybe 9. It's hard to remember now, but I think I'd gone there because I was sad. I'd had good memories of the forest, so I thought going there might make me feel better. Music stopped. I was standing in the forest, waiting to see if I did feel better. It didn't happen, so I sat down in the leaves and started crying. It was there for maybe 5 minutes before I heard some branches creaking above me. I'd look and saw feet swinging around. This confused me, so I stood up and backed away, staring up as I slowly realized I was seeing a fox being hung by its neck. Even now I can remember the way he looked. His overalls, his white shirt. His head had been tilted down towards me, his tongue lolling out of his muzzle, his eyes blank. I can even remember what looked like pinkish red blood on the white fur of his chin. Then I tripped over a branch, and when I looked back up, he was gone. I can't remember much after that except that I'd gone home and told my parents. That ended up with me seeing a doctor. They never found anything wrong with me, at least anything that might relate to seeing things. In the end, we were told that sometimes kids hallucinate, that it would stop happening as I got older. I hugged myself, feeling cold and a little scared now that I've brought up that old memory. While I know that I was at the age where kids hallucinate most often, I still can't get out of my mind how real it had been. I still, that's not exactly what's giving me the chills right now, because I just realized that had been the summer after Sydney passed. That's why I was so sad, because I remembered how happy the summer before that had been. So what Sydney wrote doesn't make any sense, unless I'm going crazy. A creak behind me makes me jump, and I whirl around, eyes scanning the branches, terrified of what I might find. But there's nothing there, just branches creaking in the wind. I stare for a while longer before I shout. A shout from far down the line of trees makes me jump. I found it! It's TJ's voice, high-pitched and excited. I shake myself out of the trance and start jogging towards where the lynx's voice came from. Maybe I'm confused things and I'm just remembering things incorrectly. It's the only thing that makes sense. As I come up on the lynx, Carl and Jenna are already there, standing around the tree trunk. Sure enough, a little wooden birdhouse is tied to the trunk with rusty wires. I can't believe it's still here. It does look pretty beat up. Jenna points to the little wooden plug in the opening. It's closed up. Think it's been closed this whole time? I don't know, maybe? TJ pokes at the plug with a claw, then grips around the edges with all his claws before gently pulling the wooden cork-like thing out. A thick, sticky, long trail of cobwebs follow it. We all stare into the dark hole that's revealed. Chase, you want to reach in there? I'm sure there aren't any spiders. I shiver involuntarily. I don't really want to either. Jenna sighs before pushing past TJ. Bending over, she picks up a twig and sticks it in the hole before swirling it around. When she pulls it back out, it's like she made a cotton candy cone of spider webs. She drops that, then takes her phone, turning on the flash before holding it up to the opening. Well? We all wait anxiously for her to say something. There's something here. With that, she reaches in with just her fingers. After a few crinkling sounds, she pulls up a Ziploc bag and inside a folded up piece of paper and a blue comb. Holy shit, no way! Well, no one ever comes back here, so I guess it makes sense. He actually put a comb in there to make it rhyme. Jenna makes a few jerking motions away from the birdhouse to get rid of the cobwebs. She looks around and sticks it out to me. Since you read the last one... Okay. I glance at TJ, but he doesn't make any indication that he might want it. The bag is covered in what looks like dirt and cobwebs. A few clumps of both dangle from the bottom. I open it carefully, and when I pull out the paper, I can tell that it's been wet a few times. It's a little crumpled, but when I unfold, the water damage isn't bad enough that I can't read it. Still, the paper immediately splits in two this time, and I had to hold them up together as I read it. It's dark to the point where I have to have Carl hold up his phone to give me some light. Good job, but that was a little easy, right? Next, we will find out how brave you are. I know this was already a scary test for Chase, but that doesn't count. Do you really remember? Get a flashlight and make sure Leo is with you. Here it is. Stay in school. It will be cool. We'll have fun in 301. I hope you don't die. Sid. We're all quiet for a moment, then TJ giggles. I look at him, but he's covering his mouth with a hand, so I can't see him smiling. That's not really a riddle, is it? I smile. Go easy on him. He was a kid. Sorry. So, the old school in room 301. I assume that's what he meant by the test of courage. Shoot. He went in there all by himself? I wouldn't even do that now. Yeah, that is a little weird. The feeling that something isn't right grows inside my chest. Well, we had to break the law to get in there. We'd be trespassing. Jenna glances at TJ because we all know the Lynx wouldn't dare break the law. Besides, it's getting late. Maybe we can go check it out tomorrow. One of us can go in for you, TJ. TJ looks up at the sky where stars are starting to twinkle through the branches. Well, if we're going to trespass, we should do it at night, right? Jenna's mouth falls open. What? TJ looks flustered. I mean, we don't have all that much time left here, so we should probably get as much of it done as we can. So, you're okay with breaking the law? Well, yeah, if it means we can finish this. We all stare at him. I don't know what else to say. I just really want to get this done. It feels right. We're quiet for a moment before Carl claps his hands together. Well, all right then, let's go. We still got a few hours before I'm going to bed. Jenna sighs loudly. All right, but I want to get back before 10 so that I can finish my papers. Yeah, don't worry. Onward! Carl marches ahead of us, taking a running leap to cross the ditch. I look at TJ, who's still looking fidgety again. Hey, we'll finish this before we have to leave, okay? TJ gives me a small smile. Okay. Jesus. Carl says that a cop still patrols Echo randomly at least once a night. Because of that, we let Jenna sit out in the car and keep watch. If someone shows up, she'll text us, which should give us time to get out of the back of the school. It'll still look suspicious as hell, but as long as we're not caught on the property and have some sort of excuse, we should be fine. At least, that's what Carl says. We stand there in front of the door, and I notice that a couple chains hang loosely off the door. No lock to be found. Well, at least that hasn't changed. Carl shrugs. Teenagers break in all the time. No point in putting a lock back on every time. Carl gives the door a shove, and it slides open very slowly, letting out an unearthly squeal as it does. The three of us stand there, staring into the darkness. DJ fidgets next to me. Having second thoughts? No! His voice comes out in a crackly squeak that Carl snorts at. Just so dark. Nighttime always has a way of doing that, man. Good thing I've charged my phone before we left. Carl takes out his phone from his pocket and holds it up before turning on the light. Mine's almost dead. We can share. Jesus, I remember seeing this portion in Leo's during the morning. It's creepy as hell at night. Carl sweeps the light inside, revealing graffiti-covered walls and dirt-covered floors. Nice. I look back and see Jenna staring at us from the car. She gives me a thumbs up. I inhale deeply. Well, let's go. I take out my own phone and step inside, and TJ follows me. Carl stands next to us, spinning in a circle. Well, it's not that creepy. Okay, so the room here are the 200s. TJ points up at the doorway next to us, a small label above it reading 203. So that means we have to go up one floor. Carl sweeps his light around and points to the staircase. Shall we? Those things better be stable. Carl points his light up the staircase. I can see some graffiti up there. It's probably fine. The ram leads the way, at first tentatively setting a hoof on the first step before testing the next. Yeah, it's good. And with that, he strides up the stairs while TJ and I follow, following a little more hesitantly. Why don't they just demolish the place? Heard they wanted to turn it into a museum. Can't see why though. Carl shines his light on the railing, the wood rotted and broken. Hey, do you guys remember when Chase saw someone staring out from one of the windows up here? Oh my gosh, please don't talk about this right now. Do you even remember that, Chase? Yeah. Actually, that was a long time ago. I hardly remember it, but I do remember seeing a dark form in one of the windows. I'd been positive it was just an object sitting in the room, but I wanted to tell my friends that I'd seen a ghost. It was nothing like what I saw in the trees. Thinking about it, it is creeping me out though. Stop! TJ whines as he reaches the top of the stairs and, clearly trying to change the subject, points up at the door. Alright, 305. So maybe this way? Chase, let me see your phone. TJ takes it from me and points it up at the next door over. Yeah, 304. So last one down. He hands me back my phone and stands there for a moment. Carl chuckles. Want me to go first? You scared? TJ glares at him. Come on, guys. I want to get out of here too. Okay. Carl leads the way again, down the hall to the very end. There's more stuff in the way on this floor with a lot of desks and chairs. Carl keeps his light up, counting down the doors. 302 and 303 and 302. Ah! 30 fuck! TJ jumps a foot into the air and I point my light at Carl. What? Carl turns around, sheepishly rubbing his hip. Ran into the stupid desk. Hurts like a mother. Really, Carl? TJ clings to me, taking a deep breath. But here's the door. Carl points the light back up above the door, and sure enough, there's a 301 up there. TJ and I stand next to him, both staring into the dark room. Hey, I think this might actually be the room you saw the thing staring at you from. Carl! There's a warning tone in TJ's voice. I rub my chin. Actually, yeah, I think it is. TJ sighs loudly and closes his eyes. Guys, please, can we just... Yeah! Carl thrusts his hand into TJ's side as he yells, sending TJ into a hysteric fit of screaming and grabbing onto me. I stumble as I try to keep the lynx from rendering my flesh with his claws. Oh shit, sorry, ow! Carl reaches out to, I assume, comfort TJ, but gets a backhand across the face in response. You ass! I watch the two of them with wide eyes, never having seen TJ so indignant. Carl stares back, a hand up to his cheek. Whoa. Alright, let's start looking. As if nothing happened, TJ takes my phone and strides into the room, his tail twitching in irritation. I can't believe you slapped me. Carl calls after him, but gets no response. I smile, trying not to laugh as I walk past the ram. Can you? He asks me, rubbing his cheek as he follows me in. Hey, you asked for it. Probably not the best time to be scaring him. Yeah, whatever. What the hell are we looking for anyway? I look around. From what I can see, there's not much left in the room. A few desks are pushed up against the wall, and aside from the chalkboard and map at one end of the room, there's nothing else. I go over to stand by TJ at the other end of the room, looking at the desk. There's not much in here, is there? TJ sweeps the light around the room, frowning. Not really. He points the light at Carl, who's at the other end of the room by the chalkboard. Anything written on the chalkboard, Carl? Carl shines his light on the board and then gasps. What? There is. It's a whole lot of dick. Carl steps to the side, pointing his light at the board, and sure enough, it's covered in countless drawings of dicks. TJ sighs. I mean, we were bound to hit a roadblock eventually. I trail off, staring at the window at the far end of the room, where I see a small-looking box at the ledge. What's that? I point, and TJ shines a light over at it. A metal toolbox glints back at us. TJ immediately walks over to it, and I follow him. Carl joins us as TJ fiddles with the latches, popping them open. There's a soft creak as he lifts the lid, a tray extending out as he does. And there, sitting in the tray, is another folded piece of paper. There's no way. Yeah, that makes no sense. Why not? TJ gently picks up the note, handing me back my phone. Shine this on me, this for me, please. Someone would have taken it by now. Well, they didn't, see? TJ unfolded it, and he shows me the handwriting, the exact same we'd seen on the other two notes. I frown, but I don't say anything more. That is fucking weird. Maybe it did just sit here for the past 10 years? No one wanting to bother with an old-looking toolbox. But this place is broken into regularly, with the whole point being a tag or take stuff. Someone definitely should have taken it by now. This was all on top of the idea that Sydney came in here as a little kid just to hide a note. Something isn't right. I'm starting to feel uneasy. I don't have time to dwell on that, though, as TJ begins to read. So, you went to the school. You found it with some tools. Next, go to where I sleep. It's where I keep my secrets. Something Chase can't keep. Sid. It's silent for a moment as we take... What does he mean by that? I feel my face flush and my fur prickle as I wonder what the hell that last line is supposed to mean. Carl and TJ don't look at me, but I can sense that they want to. Carl is first one to make the sound, clearing his throat. So, Sydney's bedroom, maybe? That's what I'm thinking. This is a kid writing this stuff, so it should be pretty straightforward. I shake my head. Really, guys? TJ finally looks over at me. What? There's a defensive tone in TJ's voice, and I know he knows what I'm about to say. This is way too much. TJ frowns at me. Too much what? You know. I trail off, not used to TJ looking at me like this way. He lets the silence drag on, and I look over to call for help. Clears his throat again. You know, Tej, this is pretty weird. Like, someone would have probably taken it by now. Well, why does that have to be the case? People could have just missed it. We almost did. TJ looks back down at the note, holding it in his paws. I reach out for it, but TJ pulls it back, like I'm going to try and steal it from him. Can I look at it for a second? TJ hesitates, then holds it out to me slowly. I eye the links as I reached out, taking the note from him gently. TJ's behavior alone has me deciding that this whole thing is definitely a bad idea. The note looks old, just like the first two we found. The writing looks the same too. Maybe it is possible that Sydney came in here to hide a note, wanting to make the scavenger hunt especially scary for us. But still, I can't shake the feeling that something is off about it. I need to find time to really think about this. For now, though, I hand the paper back to TJ, who takes it from me gingerly, as if worried it'll fall apart. Carl, do you know who lives in Sydney's old house now? Carl tips his head back as if thinking. Huh? I can't remember his name, but he's a red panda, I think. Well, let's go then. I give a start. To the house? His family moved out right after it happened. There's no way it's still there, TJ. The other two were. This is different, though. Might as well try. I can't imagine going to the new homeowner and telling him about Sydney and this post-humanist scavenger hunt and him just letting us in. But the determined look on TJ's face tells me right away that I won't be able to talk him out of it. I sigh. Well, Can we at least do it tomorrow? I look at my phone. It's almost 10. TJ doesn't say anything as he looks out the window, his face barely visible in the darkness. Carl shifts around next to me. Yeah, I'm getting pretty tired. We'll have all day tomorrow. TJ suddenly turns around and heads for the door. Fine, but we are going. I am at least. Carl glances at me, probably feeling as uneasy as I am. Hey, I'm coming too. Just think it'll be easier. TJ doesn't respond, and we make the rest of the treacherous journey out of the school in silence. Dana looks up from her phone as I slide into the driver's seat. Find anything? Yeah. Another no? Yeah. Well, what did it say? I busy myself with searching my pockets for the key, so Jonah turns in her seat to look back at Carl and TJ. Well? Next one's at Sydney's old house. What? Really? Yeah, we're going there tomorrow. TJ doesn't offer anything more, so Jenna turns back around in her seat and gives me a look. She seems to sense the mood though and doesn't question any further. As I stick to the key in the ignition, TJ speaks up again. Chase, what did he mean by you not keeping secrets? A moment of silence goes by before I answer. I don't know, or I don't remember. It's been a long time. I lay awake next to TJ, listening to the link's steady breathing. I've been tossing and turning for the past 3 hours, trying to get some sleep, but my mind won't settle. This whole scavenger hunt has left me with such a bad taste in my mouth. Something about it is especially unsettling, and I've turned it over and over in my mind, examining it from every angle, and now I'm sure of it. I saw that fox hanging in the forest after Sydney died. That's why I was there in the first place. That's why I've been so sad. I turn over on my side, gripping my pillow in both paws as I stare at the wall, still listening to TJ's soft snoring behind me. So how the hell is any of this happening? It's scary, but not because I think Sydney's ghost is riding scavenger hunts or something stupid shit like that. No. Someone wrote the notes pretending to be Sydney, then planted them around town for us to find. And that someone is liking one of us. Leo, Carl, Jenna, Flynn, or even TJ. Are any of us sick enough to do something like that? And if so, who? I try to remember if I told anyone about that incident in the forest before today, but I honestly can't remember. Apparently my mom had told some people about it, Jenna's parents for one, but I really can't imagine Jenna being among the aforementioned. Whoever's writing them seems to like singling me out, mentioning the forest and how I told secrets. I roll back to stare at the ceiling and start wondering about TJ. He's been acting really strange the past few days. His bright, cheerful demeanor almost completely gone after we started the treasure hunt. I guess it's possible that he's upset enough to do something that... I guess it's possible that he's upset to do something that's as crazy as this. This is also unsettling. Maybe it could make him feel like he's connecting to the person he'd watched die over a decade ago. Maybe he did it a long time ago, and it's only now that we've come across them. Maybe he can't remember because he buried those memories. Those papers do seem pretty old, but I can't shake the feeling that this person has it out for me in some way. I think about how Carl was the one to find it first, the first letter, but I almost immediately dismiss the idea that Carl might be involved, who have no reason to do it, unless the only other person I can even imagine doing this is Flynn. He was the one most upset about Sydney's death, aside from TJ. Carl and Flynn seem to have grown pretty close over the past few years or so. Could the two of them be involved somehow? It's pretty suspicious that it would just show up in Carl's basement. I roll back to my side, preferring to stare at the wall. I don't like suspecting my friends like this, but this whole thing is messed up on so many levels. And I'm really worried about TJ. Depending on how this all ends, it could make things even worse for him. Considering how Flynn treated TJ at the river, I wouldn't be surprised if it's leading up to something terrible. And on top of all that, there's this insidious way that these Ryans refer to me. I decide that I'm going to have to do something after we find the next note, depending on what it says. If we find it at all. I'm hoping that we don't. Give me a second. This is unsettling. Ugh. Ugh. If you go in, I'll give you $1. Oh. If you go in, I'll give you $1. No. $5. No. 10. No. You could buy like 20 candy bars with that money. I'm not going in. All right. Quit yelling. Carl and I swing side to side, synchronizing our legs so that we swing back and forth at the same time. As always, it doesn't work because Carl's so much heavier than I am. The wind feels good on my fur, finally cooling me down after being out in the heat all day. Toby sits on top of the slide next to us, watching with a bored look on his face. It's my turn, Chase. In a minute. It's been like 15 minutes. Nuh-uh. Toby sighs and sits back, pouting. I look back over at the old school and smile. But if you go inside, I'll let you. No! Toby's shouts seem to echo around us, and I giggle. Fine. We swing a little longer, the rhythmic squeaking of the chains being the only sound. When's Sydney coming back with the popsicles? He's taking forever. Maybe his mom caught him and made him stay home. Ugh. Carl leans far back in the swing, and I feel the entire thing shift around. I wonder if it's going to collapse. We should go by your house, Chase. It's too hot. I want to swing. I lower my feet and let them kick through the dirt as I slowed myself down, sending a cloud of dust in the air. This talk about Sydney reminds me of something. Something I'd been told about yesterday, and now that he isn't here. Hey guys, my mom told me something about Sid yesterday. Toby's already slid down the slide and walked up next to me, holding one of the chains on the swing as he tries to push me out of the seat. Don't push me, Toby. Don't you want to hear it? It's a secret. I move to stand between the two swings as Carl kicks his hooves into the dirt next to us. Keep swinging, Carl. I want to swing with you. Oh, wait. What's the secret? Swing, Carl. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's really weird. That seems to finally catch Toby's attention, and he settles down. Ugh. Children. Hello, Max. Oh my god. The chat is so tiny for me. Yes, it's their children form. What? Carl and Toby stare at me for the first time. I feel a little worried about telling them, but having their full attention like this is kind of cool. You know what happened to Sid's dad a while ago when school started, right? Yeah? Carl's completely stopped on the swing now, staring at me. Well, my mom says the cops think it's really weird what happened. Sydney's dad died. He's in heaven now. Toby says in a matter of fact and starts swinging. Oh, I think I know what this is. Is this around? This would be around the time where Sydney was taken into the woods with his dad to go hunting. He saw his dad kill himself. Flynn found Sydney. They both buried his dad in the woods. This is during, I believe, Flynn's route. Maybe it is TJ making these letters. It wouldn't make sense. Even if you're a Mormon, you can go to heaven. My dad said so. Yeah, but do you know how he died? I start whispering and look over my shoulder at the dirt road to see if Sid's coming. It's empty for now. He accidentally got shot when he was hunting with Sid. That's what the adults told us. That he was accidentally shot, maybe while he was loading his gun.
My mom said they aren't sure if that really happened though. What do you mean?
Toby said, seems to have taken interest again and stopped swinging, staring at me.
Well, maybe Sid did something?
Carl frowns.
Like Sydney did it?
But he didn't. He didn't shoot his dad. His dad literally shot himself in front of Sydney when that happened, I believe.
I mean, I don't know, but my mom said to be careful around him just in case.
Toby's eyes suddenly widen even more as he suddenly understands.
Sydney killed his dad? Shh.
Toby flinches as I grab his muzzle with one paw, squeezing it shut.
You have to keep it a secret.
Toby just sits there staring at me. Carl does the same. Now I kind of wish that I hadn't told them.
They don't know though. My mom just said it to be careful. That's it. It might have been an accident.
Honestly, like, I remember playing Sydney, what's it called? Not Sydney's route. Playing Flynn's route and going to the entire process of how abusive Sydney's dad was, how strict he was. Well, not abusive. Well, yes, abusive and strict. And then seeing it from his point of view, how his dad would take him on these trips to go hunting, how Sydney never wanted to do this. And that scene with Sydney and his dad at the van, that van, his dad just saying all of this and then shooting himself right in front of Sydney. It's horrible. And now, like, finding out that Chase, I already knew Chase is an asshole of some sorts, no matter how old he is. But like the fact that he told these two about it, I'm starting to think that like TJ wrote all these letters back then. Like Sydney, yeah, Sydney was a mean kid. He was a bully. But like he was also being hurt at home and he didn't know what else to do. I don't know. I talk kind of fast, like I'm trying to take back what I just said. I let go of Toby, but he just sits there and doesn't swing. Carl just stares at the ground, then his ears flick up. A few seconds later, I hear scuffling footsteps making their way up the dirt road, and I turn to see Sydney jogging towards us. His arms are filled with colorful ice pops wrapped in plastic.
Hey, guys! Hey, sorry. I had to go in the basement freezer to find some. They're Super Wolf Pops.
He stumbles up next to us, kicking up another cloud of dust. He stands there for a second, breathing heavily, sweating through his thick fur.
Grab one?
The three of us reach out automatically and take one of our own. Mine is particularly melted already, blue liquid pooling at one end of the plastic. Sydney frowns at us.
What were you guys talking about? Nothing.
Carl says it almost before Sydney can finish his sentence. Sydney glares.
Yeah, right. What were you saying about me?
Sydney turns on me, and I just shake my head, busying myself with opening the plastic. Then Sydney turns to Toby, his glare turning into a smirk.
All right, Tobias. You better tell me what you were talking about.
I felt my stomach turn even as I opened the package and turned it upside down to pour out the sweet blue juice into my mouth. Why were any of them friends with each other? I think it's because there were only a certain amount of kids in this town. But Sydney was friends with Flynn. Flynn is friends with Carl. Carl's friends with us, Chase, and we're friends with Jenna and TJ. So like it became a group thing. Flynn would always take Sydney's side when it comes to picking on TJ. Carl and Chase does nothing. Leo, when he was introduced, when he came in, tried his best to separate the fights, and Jenna does the same. Their friend group was weird, so to say. I'm not sure. But knowing Flynn's route, Flynn knew a lot more about Sydney than anyone else did, even with that night with his father. So I'm guessing that like they have their reasons to stick together. I mean, the other kids are also assholes. So like I'm guessing the small enough group was enough.
Tell me or I'm gonna wrestle ya.
Sydney goes at Toby with his paws up, baring his blunt claws. Toby eyes him for a moment, but once Sydney gets close, the lynx twists out of the way, like only a cat can.
Don't touch me!
Toby hides behind Carl and I as Sydney turns to watch him, lowering his paws slowly.
What's wrong?
Toby doesn't say anything, standing behind me quietly. I can feel his cold ice pop pressing against my back. We stand in silence for a while, and I can see Sydney trying to figure out what's going on. I try to think of something fast.
Hey, let's go to my house and play on the trampoline. Yeah!
Carl hops out of the way of the swing and starts walking towards the road. I follow him as Toby clings to my side. Sydney doesn't follow, and after a moment, I turn back to look at him. He's glaring at me.
What?
He goes on glaring before throwing his ice pop into the dirt and running past us.
You guys suck!
He runs up the road and back towards town, disappearing into the bright sunset. I feel bad for Sydney. No, Friday. Jesus. I feel really bad for Sydney. Like, in every case, he was just a troubled child. The environment set him up for all of this. Damn. TJ gets up early in the morning, and I fall in and out of sleep as he moves around the room quietly. The shower turns on at some point, and I think I hear Jenna's voice. I fall asleep again, and when I wake up, next I see Jenna in the corner of the room, sitting at the little table and typing away on her laptop. Honestly, they did. They deserved so much better. Chase is an asshole. But like, yeah, they definitely did deserve so much more than they were given as children and when Flynn grew up. Like a lot of shit happened. And the fact that like each route is basically a different timeline, it feels like a different timeline every time I play this. Because like depending on who you go, they have different reactions. And I'm just like, this feels like just separate timelines within the same town that converges on one at the end. Like I know we're never gonna get it, but like, I would love to see a route with Sydney. Just Sydney. I don't know. I stare at her groggily until she notices me. Morning. Ugh. Still tired? It's almost noon. I rub my face into my pillow and groan. Guess I was up later than I thought. I forced myself to sit up. Couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, I've been having trouble too. The beds are terrible. I look around. Where's Tej? Hike. What? He went on a hike. I sit there, frowning at Jenna. She types a while until she finally notices me staring and shakes her head. I don't know. He wanted to go alone. He's been asking us to go with him all week. I should go on a hike? I mean, I've done hiking before. It's been a while since I've done it the last time. But I do love nature hikes, just not at dark, not at night. Mornings I could deal with. Afternoons I could deal with. If it's dark and I'm alone, no. I could never. Ugh, I don't deal well with like real life horror situations. I know. I think something's bothering him. Jenna pauses. Well, I know it's the scavenger hunt. Of course, that's what's bothering him. I have wings, but they're not big enough to carry my chunky body. These are more to help me balance. If anything. I can hover for a bit, maybe glide, but I can't really fly away. Owls hunting. I'm not as nocturnal as most owls. I hunt during the day. I sit on the edge of the bed, rubbing my face with my paws. This was a bad idea. Jenna goes on typing. Maybe, maybe not. He really wanted to do it. I'm going to try to talk to him when he gets back, though. I stare at my feet for a moment, deciding on whether or not I should just text him now. Jenna, do you think there's something weird about this treasure hunt? Jenna doesn't even look up from her screen. Of course I do. I think everything about it is weird. I mean, I don't even know if Sydney put those there. Jenna finally looks up at me. Why not? Just everything seems off. Who do you think put them there then? I don't know. Jenna stares at the computer screen for a while, not typing anymore. Well, the whole reason we're doing this is because of TJ. This seems to be what he wants to do. And even if it was someone else that left them there, if it's going to help him, then I'm going to help him with it. Jenna shrugs. And in the end, all it is a treasure hunt. I'm just hoping that it ends at the house. Yeah, and it's not going to end at the house. It's most likely not going to end there. We're probably going to do more. We're going to see more. Wait, yeah. Breakfast was long gone by the time I go to the lobby, and what's left is a few dried biscuits. So I opt to go to the diner instead, while Jenna opts to stay in the room to finish her paper. I sit at my usual booth in the corner of the diner, half-heartedly flipping through the menu. Janice comes over to take my order, and my short answers to her pleasantries keep her from being too chatty. Once I'm done ordering, I sit back and look out the window, watching the bright sun bake the hot desert below. I imagine TJ out there on the trail, trudging along the path under the 100-plus degree heat. Aside from worrying about what he might be going through right now, I also worry that he might pass out in this kind of weather. I can only hope he had the right mind to take along enough water and make sure to cool off like he did to me. I looked down at my phone on the table again, considering whether or not I should just call him. Maybe a text at least? Hey, man. Then I set my phone back down and wait for a response, wondering if I might drive out to the trail myself if he doesn't. That's when I sense someone move up next to the table. I look up expecting to see Janice, but I'm met with the sight of a young white deer, his clasped paws holding a folded blue apron. Look at this deer. He's so cute. My God. My goodness. All right, we're gonna take another 5-minute break for Echo just to run the ad timer. And when we've come back, yeah, he's such a dork. He's so cute though. And when we come back, we're gonna continue this for another hour or so, and then we're going to, for the YouTubers, we're going to end the YouTube stream there. And on Twitch, we are going to continue with Cult of the Lamb. So yeah, we'll be right back after 5 minutes. Everyone, stand up, stretch, get some water, get some food. We'll be right back in 5 minutes, okay? BRB. Oh, you're back. I got myself some dried mango because the family came back from the Philippines. And now I got some dried mangoes. Oh, the good kind. Oh my god. Give me a second to chew because it's like still dry. Alright. Get this YouTube still running yet. Okay, we're still good on that. Whew. Alright. I blank on his name for a few moments and I'm left with my mouth hanging open like an idiot. Then I remember. Oh, Julian, what's up? Julian smiles. Hey, my shift just ended and saw you sitting here. I wait, but he doesn't go on. Oh, I don't want to say it, but it looks like he's expecting it, and I can't really find my way out, so... Want to sit down? Yeah, sure. Julian responds quickly and slides in the booth across from me, setting his folded apron down on the table. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. My biggest regret. There has been an inflation tax on bonks. Don't puff your feathers at me, feathers. My god. It's because a lot of people have been mentioning they have a lot of points and they haven't spent on this channel. So like I gotta up the price, and I'm also adding new things like starting next week. Yeah, no problem. I wonder if I sound a little annoyed. Part of me hopes that I do, so he might get the hint, like Janice did. But he goes on sitting there, interlocking his fingers and resting his forearms on the table. How are you today? Good. You? Oh, he's such a dork. He's so cute. Oh my god, why are you so cute? Julian shrugs. Yeah, I've been better. This job is really starting to wear me out, you know? Yeah, I've had a few like that. While the buck seems nice enough, I don't think I've had more than, what, 5 conversations with the guy in my entire life? It was just a regular face that I saw through middle and high school, a part of the background. It wasn't until the last few years of high school that I noticed him and TJ hanging out. And TJ was the only reason we ever briefly interacted. So I'm a bit confused now as to why he's suddenly taking an interest. Yeah, so what sort of job do you have? Well, I'm between jobs right now. I'm going to school, but I'll probably stock shelves over the summer like I did last year. So that job wore you out? Well, no, but my fast food job did. The one I had in high school. I kind of like stacking boxes and putting stuff on shelves. See? I think food service jobs are definitely the worst. So I can see why stocking might be a little better. Date with a viewer. We could watch one anime episode of their choice. There we go. So many people would clear the points. A certain wolf boyfriend might be very jealous at that point, Feathers. We'll see. I'll let him know about this, but he might be a little jealous. And with that, I will send him a message real quick. The jealous boy. Oh, it always breaks. Something's going on with my computer. I need to fix it, honestly. No, it's me and your view. Oh, you? Oh my god. Your boyfriend and you are fine? Damn. Okay, I see how it is, Feathers. Data Feathers. One date with an anime of your choice. He breaks off as Janice comes back, setting down my chicken sandwich. Oh, you know Chase, Julian? A little. I know him through TJ. Ah, well, if you see that boy again, let him know that I'd like to chat with him. I look up and Janice gives me a wink before bustling off. I decide to definitely not let TJ know. But anyway, I'm going to school too, over at Mesa, and the diner has some seriously flexible hours. Only reason why I'm still here. At least you guys don't seem very busy, even during the lunch hour. I nod at the 2 or 3 other occupied tables. Yeah, it's a wonder we're still in business. Probably gonna have to close down in a year or 2. That idea actually makes me a little sad. I look down at my chicken sandwich, feeling a bit awkward at the idea of Julian just watching me eat, so I leave it on the plate for now. Julian leans back and looks out the window. So, where's TJ at? I thought you two were hanging out. I get the feeling that this is the main reason why Julian is talking to me. Yeah, he went off on a hike earlier this morning. I slept in. Oh, I see. You still do that a lot? I shrug. I don't know. We've only been here, what, about a week? He does love going on hikes, though. I mean, does he do that at CCU? I stare at Julian for a second before I realize what he's talking about. Oh, no. I don't go to CCU. I'm at Pueblo. Huh? So you guys met up here? Well, I picked him up and brought him here. Along with Jenna, but she goes to Pueblo too. I grow a little flustered at having to explain everything to this guy. Who is this bug? Oh my god. Who are you? My goodness. All I want to do is eat and go back to the motel and wait for tea. Honestly, me in that situation, like Jesus. You can see me clearly eating. You can see me clearly annoyed. I'm just like, yet you continue to talk. Oh my god. I see. Well, TJ was my best friend during senior year after you and Carl left. We hung out all the time. After he left for college, we kind of lost touch. Ugh. Huh, yeah. He's not very active on social media. I've only seen TJ post a few pictures since he started classes. A few were of him on the college soccer team, and one was of him standing in a prayer circle along with an inspirational quote. But Julian revealing that he was TJ's best friend towards the end of high school cools my exasperation. I suppose he does have a reason to know what TJ might be up to. He was kind of depressed right after graduation, so I've been a little worried about him. Depressed? That surprises me. I've never known TJ to be depressed. Sure, he's been sad before, but not outright depressed, as far as I know. Maybe I don't know much about him. I thought it might have to do with graduation, but it went on all summer. Oh, well, if you want to talk to him, I can definitely let him know. I gesture at my phone on the table. I also make a mental note to myself that I should talk to TJ, too, about everything. Julian smiles. That'll be great. Please do. I think he must have changed his number after leaving. Okay. I hesitate, then pick up my phone to type out the brief message. I just met Julian at the diner. He'd like to talk to you. TJ hasn't texted me back. How long have you known TJ? I set my phone back down and settle back into the booth. He's very talkative. Like, since he got here in like 2001, so 14 years ago. Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, it really is. You guys always been good friends? For the most part. I had times where I was kind of a dick to him, but he's always been a good friend to me. I see. Yeah, we all went to the same elementary school, but it wasn't until junior high that I met him in Bible study. Ah, of course. I always knew about you guys, though, the Echo Kids. Yep, that was us, the weirdos. Julian glances around before lowering his voice. It was a mean thing to say, but this town is kind of messed up. Lot of weird things happen here. I can't argue with that. Julian looks around again, biting his lip. Then he lowers his voice another notch. Hey, so this is going to be a bit weird, and I don't want to offend you, but it's something that's bothered me for a while. I eyed Julian wearily. Yeah? TJ told me what happened Lake Emma a while back when we were talking about death and heaven. Damn. I feel a chill go up my spine. Well, he never actually told me about what exactly happened, but I can tell it really affects him. Kind of a dick. He was always a dick. Oh my god. I don't know. Chase is a weird kid. Julian pauses, but I don't say anything, keeping my eyes fixed on the table. Now, you don't have to tell me, and if it makes you uncomfortable, please don't. But I feel like if I have a better idea of what happened, I might understand him a bit better. This is a Julian, I'm sorry, but like, this is a conversation between you and TJ, not with TJ's friend. This is weird to insert yourself into the situation. I feel like he's inserting himself into a situation that he doesn't need to be. Like, TJ has stopped talking to you since summer of graduating. Like, I don't know. I don't know about this kid. Like, I know that you guys gone through this very traumatic thing, but like, if you tell me, I could probably help. But you're not my therapist. I'm not paying you. Oh, I got bugged. Yeah. I don't know. This guy's weird. Is it just me? Yeah, these are good mangoes. Julian brings his interlocked fingers up to his chin to rest on it. Why not? I'm not going to ask him to tell me, of course. I know it was a long time ago, but I know you can carry stuff. But I know you can carry stuff like that around for a long time. Ugh. Wait, there wasn't even a bonk after all this time. For some reason, the alert, all the audios have been going on weird. I can hear them, but for some reason, after updating my mic, all my audio files have broken. Most likely, I'm going to try to fix. I'm gonna try to fix it before the subathon this coming Monday. Hopefully, I can fix him. I'm crying in the club right now. Girl, don't cry in the club. Panic at the disco. Don't cry at the club. So if you're not okay with it, then please let me know and I'll change the subject. Please change the subject. I contemplate for a moment, wondering. Oh my god. I contemplate for a moment, wondering if the buck is out of line to be asking about such a thing. Yes, this feels way out of line. Like, seriously, why are you asking such a personal thing when I've only met you like what, 5 times in the 14 years? Like, seriously. I decide he isn't. What do you mean? I'm sorry, Feathers. Don't worry. We'll fix it. I'll refund you for the bonks. I decide he isn't. He's one of TJ's best friends, so in a way, he's sort of connected to it. No, he's not. It's okay. Don't worry. This poor autistic deer can't read the room. We don't know if he's on the spectrum, but like he really can't read the room. My God. So, I guess he does have a reason to know. No, he doesn't. Okay, but please don't bring this up with TJ. Like you said, it still really affects him. Never. Julian looks at me solemnly. I think for a moment, gathering my thoughts. It's been a long time since I thought of the story from beginning to end. It was around August, I think, 2003. It's a little bit hard to remember. What I do remember is that we'd all gone down to the lake to swim like we did almost every week. There's a little spot where the beach kind of curves in and it's mostly sand and shallow water. That's where we usually hang out and swim. Even though the water was always sort of stagnant there, it was at least safe and warm compared to the rest of the lake. I think at some point, one of us wanted to go and skip rocks. We all had to go further up the shore to do that, and TJ was more interested in building sandcastles. So he stayed behind while the rest of us went up the beach to find the rocks. When you go up that far, you can't really see that spot anymore, so I'm not completely sure what happened. I vaguely remember looking back at TJ as we went up the beach. The Lynx bending over his castle, the back of his wet swim trunks covered in sand from where he sat down. Sydney went with us. I at least remember that. But while we were skipping rocks, he sort of disappeared. I glanced up at Julian for a moment to see him listening attentively before I looked back down at the table. Anyway, we heard splashing and some shouting from TJ, and we all ran up the beach to see Sydney floating out in the lake. I swam out there and got him. Too late, though. I don't mention the part where TJ was crouched in 3 feet of water, staring at Sydney's body floating 20 feet away from him. I don't tell him that TJ's explanation for what happened always amounted to Sydney stepping out too far into the water. That maybe the current knocked him off balance and pulled him in. How he even said that it almost looked like an invisible shark had grabbed Sid and pulled him out. How none of it makes any sense at all. None of us are sure what happened. It seemed to be enough for Julian, though, as he shakes his head. I'm very sorry to hear that. But thank you for telling me. All I knew was that a friend of his drowned in the lake. He didn't tell me how close he was to it. It makes sense why that would still deeply affect him. Nope, no problem. I realized that Julian is probably the first person that I ever told the story to outside of Echo. I also realized that it wasn't hard at all to do. I suppose it's easier to tell someone who wasn't related to the incident, someone that has no connection to the raw horror of that day. That, and a lot of time has passed. Maybe I just got over it without even knowing. But yeah, Echo's a crazy place. You know about the mass hysteria thing that happened 100 years ago? That place is kind of famous for that. Almost all the paranormal podcasts I listen to have an episode on it. My heart skips a beat as I suddenly remember my project. I cover my face with my paws. Shit. What's wrong? Did I say something? I uncover my face to see Julian looking at me with some concern. No, I forgot some schoolwork that I need to get done, a project. The excitement around the scavenger hunt completely wiped the thought of it from my mind. Oh, what kind of project? A news report on Echo and that mass hysteria incident. I've barely done anything on it since I first got here. Hey, that's so cool. Do you need help? I blink. The buck's eagerness surprises me. For the first time, I see him become embarrassed. The skin on the inside of his ear is turning a dark red. Sorry, it's something that's always interested me, so I got a little excited. I glance down at my phone and see that I still haven't gotten a response from TJ, so I got an idea. Despite my initial annoyance, I like how considerate Julian was about the whole lake incident. I also want to give him a chance to see TJ before the end of the trip. Well, actually, I've been meaning to get some footage of mine, or at least the opening since it's sealed up, of the mine. If you want, we can head up there to get some shots at the same time look for TJ. The trail is in that area. Julian perks up. Hey, that would be really awesome. Thanks. Do you want to eat first? I look down at my sandwich, then shake my head. I'll just eat it on the way to the motel. Oh, I got my truck. I can drive you over. And there's a bunch of room if you need it for equipment. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Just let me get to a to-go box and we can leave. All right. I think this is a good point for on the YouTube and for this to end. Oh my god, he gonna work on his project? Legas. I know, right? After all this time? Oh my god. But yeah, I think this is where we're going to end this session of Echo on YouTube. And where we're going to continue again off for Cult to the Lamb. I'm going to try to figure out how to fix the audio. But yeah, so that's going to be the plan for now. So for people on YouTube, we thank you for watching. I hope you stay comfy cozy in this owl house. We will continue Echo again the third week of the month. So yeah, we'll do it then. But for now, we are going to end that here. And for those on Twitch, we are going to go to our BRB screen and we're going to go to our BRB screen and set up for Cult of the Lamb. So let us save. Save there. That's the title. And we'll be right back in 15 minutes because I also need to clean up the room a bit and turn on the lights because it's getting dark in here. So, BRB, guys.